There are certain areas in Edmonton right now that buyers are absolutely flooding to. New communities, massive developments, builder incentives, beautiful show homes. Everything looks clean, modern, and exciting. And honestly, some of these are fantastic. But others, I think buyers are getting a little bit too caught up in the excitement without fully thinking about what's going to happen long term. Because fast growing does not automatically mean smart investing. And a lot of buyers are focusing entirely on aesthetics while ignoring things like future resale, traffic, lot sizes, construction quality, commute realities, oversupply risk, and long-term neighborhood maturity. So in this video, I want to break down some of Edmonton's fastest growing areas in 2026 and whether I personally think that they're actually worth it. First, let's talk about why new communities are growing so aggressively. Because there's obviously a reason that buyers are getting attracted to them. There's more layouts, open concept, new schools, walking trails, playgrounds, energy efficiency, attached garages, builder incentives, and honestly, social media marketing. And a lot of newer communities are marketed extremely well. People see beautiful drone footage, happy families, coffee shops, ponds, parks, modern architecture, and suddenly it feels a lot more like you're buying into a lifestyle. And to be fair, that matters, and there's absolutely value in enjoying where you live. But buyers need to separate marketing from long-term fundamentals, because some communities age extremely well, and some sure don't. Southwest Edmonton continues to dominate growth. Areas like Keswick, the Uplands, Glenridding, Riverstead, Stillwater, these communities are attracting a ton of young families and move-up buyers, and I understand why. There's modern homes, there's great access to the Henday, there's lots of new amenities, and there's great visual appeal and generally strong demand. But here's the part that people don't always think about. A lot of these areas also have very small lots, very similar homes, heavy builder competition, ongoing construction for years, and in some cases, serious traffic growth coming. That doesn't mean they're bad buys, but buyers need to understand when they're entering these communities that they're all built at once. Resale competition can become intense, and if your house looks nearly identical to 40 others nearby, pricing pressure becomes real, especially in slower market times. So in new areas, I think buyers should focus heavily on lot quality, backing onto something desirable, the layout uniqueness, future parking practicality, and long-term resale advantages. Because not all homes in the same neighborhood perform equally. Now, outside of Edmonton itself, St. Albert and Sherwood Park are continuing to see huge demand too, especially from buyers that are wanting more family-oriented environments, excellent schools, safer suburban feel, and slightly more established infrastructure. The challenge? Prices in certain pockets have become extremely aggressive, and some buyers are stretching financially just for the prestige factor of certain communities. Personally, I think buyers need to ask themselves, are you willing to pay for actual value or just reputation? Because sometimes there are nearby alternatives offering better lot sizes, better value, less congestion, and similar long-term appreciation potential. This is where buyers need to strategize instead of being purely emotional. This one is massive. A lot of buyers tour new communities on the weekend. Everything feels quiet. Traffic feels fine. The area feels peaceful. Then reality hits, Monday morning. Long exits, congestion, school traffic, construction bottlenecks, limited main access roads. And suddenly, that beautiful new community feels very, very different. I think buyers massively underestimate how much daily commute stress impacts quality of life, especially long-term. So whenever buyers are looking at newly developing areas, I always recommend to drive the commute during actual rush hour, not on Sunday afternoon, because there's a huge difference. Now personally, I think the strongest communities long-term usually combine good infrastructure, strong access routes, balanced density, nearby amenities, school development, parks and trails, and enough uniqueness to avoid feeling overly cookie-cutter. I also think that mature areas with strategic redevelopment potential are still being heavily underestimated. Because while everyone rushes towards the brand new communities, some older neighborhoods still offer larger lots, better trees, shorter commutes, more character, and surprisingly strong long-term upside. And honestly, I think a lot of buyers are going to rediscover mature communities over the next few years, especially as affordability pressure continues. If I had to give buyers one major piece of advice right now, it's this. Stop buying based on what looks the best on Instagram. Seriously, pretty staging and trendy finishes are easy. What actually matters long-term is location fundamentals, commute practicality, builder quality, lot positioning, future resale demand, and whether the community still makes sense 10 years from now. Because hype and excitement change fast. Good fundamentals do not. At the end of the day, Edmonton still has some fantastic growth areas and opportunities. But buyers still need to think strategically, not emotionally, because some fast-growing communities are going to age incredibly well, and others are honestly going to struggle once the hype and excitement settles out and competition increases. So if you're thinking about buying in Edmonton and want honest advice about which areas actually make sense, feel free to reach out. And if you want more honest Edmonton real estate content without the fake hype and the sales pitch, hit subscribe, because I'll be posting a lot more of these videos on here. See you on the next one.